We will tell and build bridges and be off and on our way. Thank you, Bill Staines, for allowing us to use the Bridges programming on our Bridges programming. And we're here to talk about the Human Renewable Energy Measurement tonight, sponsored by Renew the Earth, which is also part of Bridges programming. So you can do programs with us if you choose. It's all about humanitarian efforts, and the Human Renewable Energy Measure is a way of saying all human beings must have their basic needs met, no matter what. And
through our
economic system. So that's how we look at that. With me, I'm Jeff Bell, and with me is Susan Comon and Dennis Carius. Hello, Dennis.
Hello, Jeff.
Hello, Dennis.
And this is Wednesday World Call-In, but we're doing it on Tuesday evening because of conflicting appointments. So unfortunately, we couldn't change the appointment. So we're flexible. So we're doing the program tonight because the information that we want to bring out is we try to bring it out twice a week of different things happening around the world. The Pope Francis has been excellent in his stuff, but the media stopped talking about them, and we need to get them back in the light of.
And we want to shine a light on what Exxon Mobile knew and when they knew it, because that needs to stay in the conscious minds of people, we feel, so that they can see. I mean, even Dole Pineapple has organic bananas now. I mean, get on board, Exxon Mobile, please. You know, I mean, do you want to be the last huge company and the hugest, I mean, is that a word?
Largest
company in the world and be the last one to understand your responsibility to the earth, to life on this planet. It seems that everybody else seems to understand it, and I don't know what you're waiting for. Really.
Well, they're lying because they want to make profit. That's
but there are other ways to make profit. They could be diversifying into renewable energies.
But they're not going to make as much profit.
Who knows? Maybe they would make more profit.
Well, they would, because once you build the thing, The whole point is making profit.
Well, that's the problem with our economic system.
Right, that's why we
Structured
need this.
right now.
We need the human renewable energy measurement.
So that we restructure the economic vision on life support, not profit.
For instance, we have health insurance in this country theoretically, and we have all kinds of items in the form of it. And and we come to find out that if you have eye surgery and you've been blind in one eye for almost forever, and they can fix that. Out of pocket.
The pocket cost.
The pocket cost, out of your pocket cost after they do the surgery. Surgery is covered for like cataracts.
But
However,
not for special lenses.
Not for the special lens. And
that would correct blindness.
Right. And the reason why they say that, it's considered cosmetic surgery. Same thing holds true for dental care. If you've got a bad tooth that really creates a problem in
that's considered cosmetic.
It's cosmetic. They don't cover it.
So there's a lot of stuff.
And people who can't afford
skewed.
to go to the dentist or have certain special.
And do you want to say how much it would cost?
Well, $2,000
to $3,000.
$2,000 to $3,000
to correct blindness in your eye.
Right.
What if you were a person who's born blind, but then certain kind of lenses that are now possible to insert in the eyes would help you see for the first time in your life? That wouldn't be covered.
Or you have a tooth fix that's creating poison in your jaw that can go to your brain. You need to get this taken care of.
Right.
No, if it's dentistry, we're not covered.
That's cosmetic.
So this is the trouble with our economic system. It has no real connection to reality or humanity. Right.
Of the physical realities of how we live and what's important in life.
This is just something. I'm sorry to you, but it's late for me at night. But we got some emails last week, and one of them was very constructive. It said, "Oh, our content is very good."
But you slouch too much.
And I slouch too much.
And we need a teleprompter.
But
we can't afford a teleprompter.
But
so I have to look down.
If somebody wants to give us a teleprompter, that
would be great.
And they didn't like the fact that Susan actually looked down at her notes, but I can tell you for a fact that even NPR people
have to look down at their notes, or they look at the teleprompter
and someone else
because they're reading
it. So we're apologizing for that, for the show that it's not really.
But we're real people. We're not NPR.
We're not NPR.
We're not trying to be.
But if anybody wants to do their own show and it's a humanitarian
and they
show,
want to make it even better than ours, that'd be great.
We are more than willing to give you the time to do the program. You've got to do it yourself. We can't help you with it, but you, I'm sure, can do as good a show as we can do, and maybe even better. And I challenge you to do a good show.
This is what it looks like when regular people are trying
to
speak.
We're doing the best we can with what we got.
But,
there's a phone number.
And it ain't pretty. If you've ever go to any of your, well, even Dennis, the networks that are in town, cable
networks,
right? Certain cities have, their own station, and the people of the community can go and have a program. It's just like going to a board meeting at the school, or it's real life. And that's what we're getting so far away from. What we're saying, economics is so far away from real life and what people are really doing and how they present themselves, how they really do. It's not like what you see on NPR, and everybody's all dressed up and makeup and all kinds of stuff, and you got the teleprompter and someone else has written the script. I mean, these people aren't making up what they're saying. They're not writing the news. They're reading the news, and they're given questions to ask for interviews. They're not spontaneously thinking in front of you. So it's a different kind of thing that happens. And if you go to any town board meeting, it's excruciating, but that's real life, and we try to make it a little more interesting than that, because I do a lot of research before the program. I bring articles forward, and Jeff and Dennis bring their personalities and their unique views to whatever information we're trying to consider. That's what it is.
Like I know that we were at a meeting just before the program tonight, and
We're trying to present what actually seems to be
they were
interesting.
talking about building an observatory in one of the small hill towns here.
Yeah.
It's very dark. You can be like dark matter. It's very dark.
So it's a perfect
So it's
spot
a good
to
spot
observe
to
the
observe
skies,
the
the stars, the
sky.
planets, everything.
And there's a lot of people that worry about what it's going to cost. Well, my point is that they have to start raising money to build this thing. It's a very expensive proposition, but it'd be interesting, and people would enjoy it.
It would be
Kids would enjoy it,
educational.
educational, and people who are interested in astronomy can come.
Unique.
And then, of course, we have a very unique area as far as the archaeologists go and the geologists go, so we can do something with that. But it's very nonchalant. People are dressed very nonchalantly. It's not scripted. The guy runs around in the front of the thing to show you the pictures that the artist drew for what it should look like. They ask how much money they had. They take questions from the audience spontaneously, positive or negative.
That's real
That's
life.
real
That's
life.
real meetings. That's the way. But they're formal too. I mean, there's a certain formality even in those meetings. Like there's the people at the desk who are like running it, and then there's the audience, which I find very stiff. And that presents its own problems. I mean, what we're doing is just a little more
sitting down
relaxed.
on the front porch or sitting down
Maybe,
at a couch
and
here.
we would invite anybody to call in.
And then people can say what they want to say, and we'll address it.
863-812-4736, and we're supposed to memorize our call-in
And
number.
we didn't
But I
know it off the top of our
don't
head.
know it off the top of my head because I haven't made the effort, I must say.
We're going to have to.
863-812-4736.
And you can call in if you want.
Like to call in
But,
anytime.
But anyway, Dennis, are you going to be able to get online tonight or not?
Oh, yeah, I can. Let anyone know that that calling number is not, they're not calling across the ocean into Europe. That's a Florida area code, right?
Right, it's a Florida area code, but most people, there's no cost for them to call anywhere in this country. So if they're in this country, and then, and also that's a Skype number. So if you're on Skype and you're anywhere in the world, you can call that number at no cost. If you're on Skype, right? So you can deal with it as a Skype phone number, and that's why I don't know off the top of my head. But we do get calls on that. A lot of times we're not even in the building, so we knew we're getting calls on that. Anyway, so please use that. It's on the screen now if you want to see it.
I see the screen, but you have to give me 20 seconds. It's just this call in 863, here's the number 812-4736.
Right, and that last 4736 stands for HREM. And I think that's why we have that number, because that was the only one we could find with the HREM.
The last four digits.
Last four digits, right?
But I don't know how helpful that is. We could actually say it that way if you want.
HREM.
You could say 863-812-HREM.
Right, and that's good. Because
But then you have to look at your
dial.
and look at what
The
corresponds.
important thing is that this program is, the impotence behind this program is brought to you by a human renewable energy measure.
Which is a way of measuring human needs, within the economic system.
And that's so important.
And there is a website, and it keeps going past in the digital.
You can see all the websites.
It's called thehrem.org, and you can go there and read however much you want on that site about what we think this concept is and how we're trying to describe it and get it across. I recently transcribed at least a little more than half of last year's programming, and it's now in print on that site. I'm going to transcribe the rest of the year before we start another year. It's our way of conveying this concept is evolving too as we do these programs, as we think more in other references about it and hear people's reactions. Our way of, defining this concept and communicating it to you is evolving. And of course, we welcome any any
Any
contributions
comments?
and comments
And
that you
people
might
get,
have.
someone said to me on one of the emails that my beard is distracting. Well, unfortunately, I don't want to shave off my beard. And understand that this video we're doing, all the audio gets taken off of it and put on, with, I call them RSS feeds, but they're put on like TuneIns, iTunes, other audio formats around the country. And that's how we're getting so many hits on our program.
I think Donald Trump's comb over is much more distracting than
Yeah, Donald Trump's comb over is much more distracting. And Hillary's coughing
I
is
find
even more distracting. So, I mean, I have people telling me that, we got to be careful of all these people we're putting in office, but we're not putting them in office. The actual system is going to put the person in office. I don't believe that our vote matters, but I think it just psychologically, we don't want people to think that they're under a dictatorship, which I think we are. However, I can still talk to you like this, and that means they haven't cut me off, even though we only get 6,000 hits a week.
many people are saying that we're on some kind of list.
We're on a hit list. But I don't believe that. I'm not that paranoid.
Nor are we that important.
Nor we consider ourselves that important. But anyway, please don't hesitate to think about the human renewable energy measure. We're going to give you some problems with it, and we're going to tell you before the programming is over on how you could do something that matters without costing you money, without joining any groups, without giving up your information. We will do that for you right before the program ends. So, without further ado, I'm going to pass this over to Susan, who has some notes she's been
Well, I
working
just
on.
want to review a little bit of this article written by Shannon Hall back in October 26, October 15th. It's almost a year ago. 2015. It's almost a year ago, a little more than a year ago. Exxon Mobile knew about climate change almost 40 years ago. Is the title.
We got to move that closer.
But
You gotta move
that's
that
okay.
closer
This is,
so
you know,
people can see that.
this is printed from the internet, so it's not the magazine itself.
But it's posted off the internet. And that's what it shows here. It shows what Exxon Mobile.
Well, there you go. A little bit of the exhalation of PowerPoint, it looks like. Right, and you're very welcome. We did go over this article in the last program, but I will just go to some of the highlights, which keep ringing in my head for some reason. And one of the people that was quoted in this is a history of science professor at Harvard University, Naomi Oreskes. And she said, quote, "It's never been remotely plausible that they did not understand the science," meaning the science of climate change. And then the testimony in front of Congress of one of their staff scientists and what he was telling Exxon Mobil. Here's what he was saying back in July 1977. Their senior scientist, actually that wasn't in front of Congress, that was their CEO that was in front. But this was their senior scientist, James Black, delivered this message, quote, "In the first place, there is a general scientific agreement that the most likely manner in which mankind is influencing the global climate is through carbon dioxide release from the burning of fossil fuels," unquote. Black told Exxon's management committee this information. He was on their staff. He was one of their employees. A year later, he warned Exxon that doubling CO2 gases in the atmosphere would increase average global temperatures by 2 or 3 degrees, a number that is consistent with scientific consensus today. He continued to warn that, quote, "present thinking holds that man has a time window of 5 to 10 years before the need for hard decisions regarding changes in energy strategies might become critical." So he gave them 10 years to make up their mind. That would have been about 1987. Well, we know nothing happened significantly different, and they continue, to stick to the same game plan today, and we're already 97, 20 more years later, at least, Yeah, close to
Yeah,
20 more years.
maybe 7.
So 30 years have gone by
16.
since this warning.
Yeah, 20, 30 years.
Right. And anyway, so then
The trouble with the warning is that it's moving so slowly that people don't realize it. If you look on your screen now, Dennis, what do you see on your screen?
and they not only didn't.
I want to ask Dennis that. Dennis, what do you see on your screen?
No, it takes a little while.
See a phone
Yes.
going under a bridge. There's homes on the left hand on the right, and the road is going under a bridge.
Right. Now, if you notice, there are no cars on that. It's a street, right?
Yeah, their street is a river. It's like a canal.
From that, you're looking at Venice, but you could easily be looking at New York City in a few years.
Uh-oh.
You could be looking at most of the low-lying
Areas.
like Florida in a
Right,
few
because
years.
I don't know if it's common knowledge, but if the subways of New York have to have pumping system going constantly
So they'd be
to keep the water out of the
So you're going to
subway.
be seeing boats rather than cars in New York. A lot less congestion. And if they use solar panels on their boats, maybe we wouldn't have any pollution. But right now, this is what you see in Venice. And when we were in Venice,
They were getting so
They were
badly flooded
terrible Venice.
that they were afraid they were going to lose a great deal of their city.
Right. So that's what you're seeing now.
I don't know what the
So,
condition is now.
I'll bring us back into the.
So instead of Exxon Mobil, after this warning and getting a 10-year period in which to make up their minds, instead of them changing their modus operandi, they waited another 20 years and continued to do just exactly what they've been doing, and increasing their the amount of product they were pulling out of the ground and from under the ocean, and selling with a tag of misconception attached to it, so that the public would maybe go to sleep and not think that this was doing any damage. The use of fossil fuel or petroleum product, that this was not damaging anything, that they could drive vehicles that get 10 miles and 15 miles to the gallon and with impunity, and buy bigger and bigger vehicles. And, all this was promoted and was a campaign of misconception, and still is. I mean, this is no news to anyone here. There was a period when, because fuel for trucks was a little less expensive or something, so everyone was promoted, trucks to buy, which of course get very, very low mileage.
I want to bring something else out. You notice there's another photograph on the screen that's being superimposed on what's talking. It looks like a building that is obsolete. Do you see that on the screen yet, Dennis? Is it up yet for you? Dennis? Are you there, Dennis? Okay, did you notice are you noticing the screen now, Dennis?
Okay, just a second, Jeff. Hold on a second. I'm going to get two things going on, but just hold on. I'm going to look at the screen now, and I'll tell you, I saw where you could go, and the water was going between the two, down the road there.
Right. Now look at what you're seeing now on the screen.
Okay, well, right now, I see, this is so old, but there's nothing inside that church or that chapel or whatever it is.
And you know why? Because the population, for whatever reason, went extinct. And that's what's going to happen to us if we continue to do what we're doing. You'll see these 1,000,000 years or 5,000 years from now, you won't see anybody at the buildings. You'll see a couple of trees, maybe, some scrub stuff. But if the climate changes, our cities will look like that, even worse. And that's the point I'm trying to make.
Well, so let me just make one point. When we were told, like good groups, like Mulan, longer going to have climate change. But what they said was that we have real climate change out there. It is ruining our planet. And then Big Oil said there's no such thing as climate change. And they couldn't say that because real scientists, not just with bachelor's or master's degree, but with doctorate degrees, said, look, the oceans are rising. People have to get off of their islands. Islands are going underwater as it rises because global warming is melting the ice and the snow in the North Pole and the South Pole, and global warming is raising the oceans. So now, Big Oil can no longer say there's no such thing as that.
Well, they keep saying it, and they, even after being warned, by their own scientists, their own staff scientists, and they went on from that point to spend $30 million or more for think tanks to promote climate denial and to buy off scientists to speak about, because sow doubt about the effects of fossil fuel petroleum burning. And there's a quote here by an individual, Kimmel, Kimmell, quote, I have to think if the fossil fuel companies had been upfront about this and had been part of the solution instead of part of the problem, we would have made a lot of progress by today instead of doubling our greenhouse gas emissions. And it's not too late. I mean, if this company, finally starts to diversify and, and take on, the challenge of using their huge monies and their technology and their wonderful staff and all the intelligence that they've gathered around them to promote renewable energies, to make that energy producing area become the dominant one, not fossil fuel. And you have another way of saying that, Jeff, where you say that, it's not like we're putting it's not going to totally disappear, the use of fossil fuel and petroleum. It's not, it can't, but it can be reduced to a point where.
If we use petroleum product as the condiment for building things, in other words, use it like salt and pepper, not the main course. Right. In other words, use it to build solar panels, wind generators, biomass plants. Build the plants with the so-called fossil fuel or petroleum product, or the coal, or whatever we need to get the carbon heat from, and then not use it for burning in cars, not use it for burning or heating homes or cooling plants.
Right.
We use it for the condiment, not the main course. We will definitely help the problem. Now,
help the planet.
I want to bring something out that I've seen on Zeitgeist moving.
And this is the challenge for them.
Let me bring this out. On a video called Zeitgeist Moving Forward. Dennis, I really would hope you get a chance to look at that. It's a 2-hour documentary. It's really well done. But on one of the professors from the oil companies, he says, I think he was from Canada or Germany, I'm not sure. And he was a big shot there. He said, if our society is still to be here in 50 or 100 years from now, our children are going to look at us and say, you knew this was a finite item that was poisoning our planet. And you continue? How in the world could you possibly continue to use this product? How in the world could you ever think that this was a way of promoting this kind of stuff?
There's a huge amount of intellectual denial going on. And it's been encouraged, by huge propaganda campaigns. And we have to somehow clear our heads. And the companies, that are still, back in the Stone Age thinking here, about
But the reality of the
using.
science thing is they don't want to admit the fact that we have to change the way we do our economic system. And if you watch Zeitgeist moving forward, it's a great piece of work. And I think we're going to have to put it on the air occasionally again because it was really worth doing. It was you have people like Howard Zinn who talks about what's going on in the United States, the reality of the U.S.
He's not living in
Historically, he's a historian. He passed away recently. We had Buckminster Fuller talks about this topic. He's also dead. All these people
Well, we need more
we need more
spokespeople
spokespeople
of this nature. Right now, all you've got is the Pope out there.
What we're doing, and I really tip my hat to the Pope. I think I can tip my hat to the Pope. I'll tip my hat to the Pope again. Here we go. There's my hat. I'll tip my hat to the Pope. Because you see my
chapeau.
You see my chapeau that I'm going to tip my hat to the Pope.
I don't think it takes 20 seconds for him to say.
You see my hat? I tip my hat to the Pope. Okay, now, right. Now, the Pope is one of the few people who got tremendous amount of
got a great pulpit
there. A bully pulpit. Right. But even the media won't pick up on his stuff. He's saying we got to change our economy.
They're saying, oh, he's no scientist. He doesn't know what he's talking about.
And he happens to be a scientist. Right. But people won't listen to him. The media will not pick up on his stuff because it's going against our economic system. And anything that goes against the economic system, they don't shoot the people any longer like they did with Jesse. What's the guy's name? The preacher for black equality. I just went blank on his name.
Martin Luther King.
Yeah, Martin Luther King. They shoot people like, because he brought up a good message. They shoot people like Kennedy. They shoot people because they're changing the economy. They don't do that anymore. They just don't give them the press that they can get. They ignore them. And that's the problem. When they try to make fun of them, when they try to belittle them, and they only put the people in who are going to keep the economy running the same old. And the only way we're going to change that is to get this measurement, this human renewable energy measurement into, it's on your screen now, into existence, the HREM.org, the THEHREM.org, and what you can do to make it happen is you talk about it with your friends. I know it's a hard sell, but talk about it with your friends. Ask your preacher to talk about a human renewable energy measure. Do a Herman rather than a sermon. Do something that gets this message out. Do whatever your mind can say to make it happen. That's what you can do to make this change. And it's only going to come from the people up. It's not going to come from the wealthy or the elected officials down. It's not going to happen until we bring it out there, until we put it into the vocabulary, until we can measure it. And we now have the measurement with the HREM.org. And that's
we have
so
a concept of it.
It's a kind of the work if we just get it into position. That to me is terribly important.
And the position is within the economics.
Exactly.
It's not a government.
It's not a government. No, we're not trying to put a new currency in. This is not something you get paid in.
It changes the focus of the economics.
It's a measurement for humanity based on economics, but not on the current economic system. I want to ask Dennis a question. You go to a lot of meetings, Dennis, right?
Yeah.
And when you go to a meeting, don't you feel as though those meetings are pretty much the same format? They're not talking about anything really majorly that's going to change anything. They're talking about, what do they normally talk about at meetings?
Well, it really depends on which meeting we're talking about. For example, I'm in a group called the Interfaith Alliance, and I think we're doing a good job saying that, Muslims are not the terrorists that we're told when we turn on mainstream media. If they have oil under the ground and we want that oil,
So how does that meeting actually make a change?
Well, the same way that I think your show makes a change. It just educates people knowing that they're getting brainwashed by mainstream.
And how many programs do they do? This Interfaith Alliance. I don't see them doing a lot of programs on mainstream media. Do you?
Not on mainstream media.
Do they do a video? Do they have videos they put out?
Like YouTubers.
And actually, that's a good point. I am asking them to do a show the same way you are right now. If you and I and Susan are doing this show,
Would be a good idea.
I'm asking them to do a show every week.
Well, why don't they join into Bridges programming to bridge the gap through all of religions and come do a program on Bridges programming and do a weekly show like we do or twice a week and and they can bring all kinds of guests on because they have more wherewithal than we have to do it because they have a lot of finances behind them. Yeah, and they can do something. And then you go to other groups. You have other groups you belong to, don't you? Then it's like something like the World Trade Center or something.
I am with other groups, yes.
And what other groups are they?
Well, I mean, one of them that I really like is called Solarize. Well, this is Solarize Albany. In our area, every single county has a Solarize group. Solarize Albany, Solarize Schenectady, Solarize Saratoga. Every county has a Solarize group.
Let me ask you a question. What's stopping the bringing in of solar panels throughout the country and throughout the world? What's actually stopping it?
Well, it's not 99% of us, no.
But what is stopping it? What's physically in the way of stopping us from solarizing every rooftop in the world?
Say that again.
What's stopping us from putting solar panels on everybody's roof?
Well, imagine if you had a dysfunctional.
No, but what's stopping us? Tell me what is the impediment in the way?
I just mentioned that the upper 0.1% of the richest, most powerful people, they want to go with the way we're going now with big oil coming from those.
Well, how are they stopping us? I know they want to, but how are they stopping us?
Say that again?
How are they stopping us? They want to, and the 1% is trying to stop us, but how are they stopping us?
Well, I mean, just for example, that's why I like doing the show. Mainstream media is not telling us the truth. So if they can buy and pay for those channels, then we can get brainwashed when they turn on mainstream media and they tell us those Muslims are such terrorists. They don't, we're not being told that terrorism is being promoted.
Okay, but I want to bring this out. But if you wanted to put solar panels on your roof tomorrow, and you say, I want solar panels, what's going to stop you from doing that?
Nothing stops. So, for example, a lot of people don't want to pay for that. You really don't have to pay 1 penny because in 6 or 7 years you get every penny back.
But suppose you don't have the pennies to put on the rooftop. You don't have it to lay out. How are you going to do that then?
Well, it's very easy. The answer is simple because we are in a country that prints money. If we brought our troops home the way our President Barack Obama said they were coming home in 2013, and then he said no, 2015, and then he said no. If we brought our troops home, we could actually print the money for all those solar panels on these roofs that are up there, and those solar panels would pay for themselves in 6 or 7 years. So we wouldn't be losing any.
But you're telling me money is stopping us from putting solar panels on.
Well, when you say money, I'm saying the big money. The people that own that money are stopping.
So money is, in other words, if Dennis Carius wants to put solar panels on his house, he has to take out a loan or borrow the money to put it on. Even though he will get it back, and maybe in his lifetime, maybe not. It depends on how old you are. But if I was young, I would really want to see solar panels on my house. Even if I had to borrow the money, as you say, you would get it back in a short period of time. But what's stopping people from putting on solar panels on their homes is money. And that's why we started something called communities. Community solar is where people could actually sign up to have community solar and borrow money to put into the community, and they would get that money back. But it's all about money. The money's sort of irrelevant. The important thing about this is we're not going to poison our environment. We're going to help the environment, help other people around the world save the amount of labor we have to put in to have the renewable energies around us. But we have to put in our labor, and we shouldn't have to put in a slave labor to do it. We should have to put in our own meaningful labor. A few hours a day or a few hours a week should give us our solar. And you're saying print the money up just for solar panels and take it from, we don't need it. Once we do all renewables, you wouldn't need the military, and you wouldn't have this problem we're running into now. Is that correct?
Yes, correct. In our group, all the interfaith alliance, everybody in that group agrees thou shalt not kill.
So why can't we bridge the gap between the Interfaith Alliance, what the Pope is saying to all religions, what the solarized groups want to do, and why can't we get political abilities to do that? And that's because we're not getting together, we're not forming together as groups of people with the same common belief. We need to come together, and that's what Bridges programming tries to do. Bring groups together, even if they're groups that have a little differences, like Republicans and Democrats. We need to come together to help humanity, whether it's Christians or Jews or Muslims or Buddhists. We need to all come together. We know we have to help humanity, and that's the whole point of our programming. We must come together as a species, because if we don't, we're going to be back to looking like, first we make them be back to look like, if it doesn't stop, we make them back and we'll start, first of all, this will happen. And if this happens, we're going to be cold, because we'll have climate change. And then we may go back to where, let's say this may happen. Let's see, this may happen. After it gets cold and the waters then get hot, we're going to have this to happen to us. We'll be, especially downtown Albany, will be covered with water. New York City will be covered with water. Miami, all over the world will have water, coastal regions will have climate change. And then once that happens, then we'll see this happen. Then we'll see this happen. We will become extinct. And if we become extinct, we got a problem.
No, we don't have any problems anymore.
We become perfect people then. We never make another
Our problems
mistake.
are
So that's the story, and I just like to bring that out.
and our responsibilities.
And I just thought you'd like that little bit of stuff we're doing to change the video a little bit. So that's the story on that. Okay, let me go back to, let Susan go on to tell you some of the problems.
Let's have Pope Francis have the last word.
Okay,
He's uplifting in the way he puts all this. And really, that's the thing. You don't want to corner anybody and keep telling them that they're bad, and you're doing bad things.
Good things you can do.
You need to encourage them to diversify their thinking and to
come together to help humanity.
Dig deeper into their humane responses to things. Anyway, let's hear Pope Francis express it, because he's really good at it. Really good at it. In the introduction to his encyclical on the care of our common home, he really kind of encapsulates everything he's going to say in the next 100 pages. So I'm drawing things out of that. And here he's talking about John Paul II In his first encyclical, he warned that human beings frequently seem, quote, to see no other meaning in their natural environment than what serves for immediate use and consumption. So then Pope Francis himself goes on to say that destruction of the human environment is extremely serious, not only because God has entrusted the world to us, men and women, but because human life is itself a gift which must be defended from various forms of debasement. Every effort to protect and improve our world entails profound changes in lifestyles, models of production and consumption, and the established structures of power which today govern societies. Authentic human development has a moral character. That's an important thing to dwell on there. Authentic human development. What we're getting is a distorted type of human development. Authentic human development has a moral character. We have that capacity. It presumes full respect for the human person, but it must also be concerned for the world around us and take into account the nature of each being and of its mutual connection in an ordered system. Here he says, he had another quote from Pope Benedict, his predecessor, Pope Benedict the 16th, I think is the Roman numerals here. Quote, eliminating the structural causes of the dysfunctions, there you go, of the world economy.
Dysfunction of world economy. That's the Pope saying that.
That's
the last Pope said that. There you go, Dennis. Dysfunctional world economy. Do you hear that?
And correcting models of, and correcting. Well, this was the one before.
This was the Pope before that, Dennis.
What Pope Francis does in this encyclical is he draws from all the writings of previous popes, of secular scientists. He goes everywhere. And then there's a huge, actually, I think probably 20 pages at the end are an index of all of the places that he has drawn quotes from and information from. But I'll go on to say, eliminating, and this is Pope Benedict the 16th, who preceded, it was the first Pope just before Pope Francis. Quote, eliminating the structural causes of the dysfunctions of the world economy and correcting models of growth which have proved incapable of ensuring respect for the environment. So he's saying our dysfunctional economy is destroying our environment.
Right, exactly.
And we have to have our environment, or we're just not going to be.
We're going to wipe out our species, right?
He observed that the world cannot be analyzed by isolating only one of its aspects, since, quote, the book of nature is one and indivisible and includes the environment, life, sexuality, the family, social relations, and so forth. It follows that, quote, the deterioration of nature is closely connected to the culture which shapes human coexistence. Okay, so we're seeing things deteriorate now. And that's closely related to the culture that's around us, that's shaping the way that we think. And what's the most profound thing that's shaping us at this time is the way that our economics, what it demands of every individual throughout their life, the focus of it,
it's focused on making money. Right. It's not helping humanity. And by the way, the coexistence, when you say coexist, you don't want to compete, because when you compete, you knock out something. It's trying to say we need no longer competition. We need cooperation. Like right now in China, they are competing, and what they're doing is they're trying to get control for the economy. They're building islands, and they're taking control over the land around the islands. So the other countries are saying, oh, you can't do that. especially the United States.
So they're feeling
So-
threatened
so they-
somehow,
and
they
want
feel they have to
compete,
protect themselves.
and they compete for the economic system because they realize the economic system is
It's
driving the
controlling
world.
everything.
Everything. The world politics is being driven by the economic
I
system.
mean, there was just an economic summit.
And they had, and then
They're all
and-
jostling.
and by the way,
down.
our president, when he first was elected, received the Nobel Peace Prize. Well, the first thing he did was put drones around. Now the Chinese are doing something, and when they came for the international summit, the Chinese put the red carpet out for everyone, excepting for the United States President Obama, because they feel as though that the United States is doing damage to the rest of the world. Also, China, and I don't know if it's good or bad, is trying to get into the monetary system that helps I guess they call it the BRICS, I'm not sure. The BRIC,
Which is Russia, parts of South America,
Brazil,
Brazil,
Russia.
I don't know, I can't list them all. There are several South American countries.
India.
Yes,
India, and they want to put all these, they want that to be the primary economic system.
Driver,
Well,
right.
the reality is that we do need.
They're all competing for
Everybody says
economic.
we don't need. They don't want to see a one world order, but the reality is that we are one world, and we have to work in cooperation, not in competition with different countries.
What they're competing for is not survival. They're competing for profit.
Profit,
And that's
right.
the road that is not taking us to a good point. This is the road we should not be traveling.
Right.
But this last paragraph here. This is again Pope Benedict. Pope Francis is quoting his. This is so beautiful the way he expresses this. He says here, Pope Benedict asks us to recognize that the natural environment has been gravely damaged by our irresponsible behavior. The social environment has also suffered damage. Both are ultimately due to the same evil, the notion that there are no indisputable truths to guide our lives, and hence human freedom is limitless. We have forgotten that, quote, man is not only a freedom which he creates for himself. Man does not create himself. He is spirit and will, but also nature. With paternal concern, Benedict urges us to realize that creation is harmed where we ourselves have the final word, where everything is simply our property, and we use it for ourselves alone. The misuse of creation begins when we no longer recognize any higher instance than ourselves, when we see nothing else but ourselves.
And that's a form of what Dennis you would call greed. And what we're trying to say is that everyone has a right to be an individual. However, we must, as an individual, we must share with other people within a certain amount of what we can consider reason. And we don't know what that is because there's no measurement. And that's why we came up with a physical measurement, that people could actually go, wait, this is fair. This is how much I should be paying in my life work. This is what I should be having for life survival. That's what the human renewable energy means. That's the whole point of our programming.
That's what should be the focus of
Renewing
economics.
the earth is also renewing humanity. We have to make sure humanity survives to help other species and themselves on this big planet or spaceship we're on. And if we pollute our spaceship and we blow up our friends on our spaceship and we damage the environmental, the environment, by the way, is our survival. It's like blowing up your survival gear on a spaceship. It's like knocking out your
life support.
Your life support on a spaceship. That's what we're doing to this planet. This is, in fact, one planet, one big spaceship in outer space. And if we knock out our what did you just say? The surviving
Our life support
systems, which is our water, our sun, our food,
our soil,
Our soil. Once we wipe that out, once we
our oceans.
put that in degradation, we are totally
So
screwed to the wall.
Exxon Mobile, you got to join us.
And
Throw your weight in the right direction.
Now here's what.
Here,
Here's what. Go ahead,
let me just have
One more. Go
let
ahead.
Pope
Francis.
Bartholomew, he's talking about here. This is a different individual. Patriarch Bartholomew has spoken in particular of the need for each of us to repent of the ways we have harmed the planet. For, quote, insomuch as we all generate small ecological damage. And
We
this is
can't
something
help it,
we
right?
can't help it.
When I wake up in the morning, I look at myself, I'm going to be polluting the planet. I'm going to kill at least 2 people somewhere on this planet today because of my economic system that I can't get out of because we don't have a measurement to get out of it. That's the point of the measurement. It's so important, and what you can do about it is
Because when you change the focus of the economics to life support, you are then changing everything that has to do with what is emphasized. You're going to use the best technologies, and you're going to distribute what is needed by people throughout the world.
We know that's the best at the time. Always make sure all humanity has the best technology to help themselves and the society around them and the environment around them. The best we can get. And we print money up for that, so it's done. There's it's ridiculous. If we were being bombed by someone who was killing our economy, there'd be no question. But I mean, killing our environment, there'd be no question. There'd be nobody would hesitate the expense. And that's what we're running into now. We please must look at this human renewable energy measurement. And that's the part that's important. The HRM.org, get other people to talk about it. You can make a difference with a very simple comment, a measurement that we can all agree upon, that all humanity has their basic needs met. I can't impress upon you how important this is. If we to survive this world, to survive in this planet, we must start measuring it so we understand what is reasonable and what's fair and what's right. And the word is just. With that measurement, we know what's just. If I can measure money, if you say I'm going to give you $5 and I only give you 4, you can measure that.
You'll see it in the way that behaviors change.
Exactly.
The economic terrorism that puts people in poverty now will not be possible if the focus is on basic needs met.
Right.
And let me just read that's last quote from Patriarch Bartholomew. He's an ecumenical patriarch described in this encyclical. Quote, for human beings to destroy the biological diversity of God's creation, for human beings to degrade the integrity of the earth by causing changes in its climate, by stripping the earth of its natural forests or destroying its wetlands, for human beings to contaminate the earth's waters, its land, its air, and its life, these are sins.
And that's all for tonight. Thank you for listening. We'll be back again next Sunday.
And the final to commit a crime against the natural world is a sin against ourselves and a sin against God.
5.